Welcome to Sage Audio. Today we're covering how to master in 10 steps. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Step 1. Ensure you have headroom. For this video, we'll cover 9 back-to-back steps for mastering your track, and then at the end cover a very unique and more advanced way to master, so stick around for that if you're curious. Before we start adding processing, let's make sure that we have enough headroom. If the track is less than 3 dB from Unity, it's best to reduce the overall gain of the track with clip gain. Similarly, if the track is too dynamic for its genre, it may need to be remixed. Otherwise, heavier compression or limiting is going to be needed to bring the level up to the desired amount. So let's take a listen to the mix without any processing first.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can...
Step 2. Use precise subtractive EQ. Next, let's start our processing on the channel strip, not the master output, for reasons that are going to become clear later on. We'll want to attenuate aspects of the signal that we don't want to amplify and do so in a precise manner. The Kirchhoff EQ is a great option for this that offers an extended demo mode, and big thanks to our viewer Chris for bringing this plugin to my attention. With it, I'll listen carefully to the mix and subtly attenuate any aspects that I don't enjoy. We can also open up the piano roll and see which notes would be out of key with the track and subtly attenuate those too. So let's take a listen and keep in mind that the effect might be subtle.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can...
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button. It helps us bring you more videos. Step 3. Affect transients and harmonics with saturation. Saturation causes softening compression at higher levels, but more importantly introduces harmonics to fill the spectrum, and even emphasizes or tames transients. For example, tube saturation is going to amplify transients and create a warm-sounding second-ordered harmonic, while tape saturation tames transients and creates a third-ordered harmonic. What you choose is up to you, but I typically emphasize my transients with tube saturation. Saturn II lets you use envelope followers to make the distortion in time with the transient, so I'll include this as well to the high frequencies to further emphasize transients. Let's take a listen.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can...
Step 4. Utilize parallel low-level processing. Something I've grown to enjoy the sound of is sending my signal to a bus, then isolating the mids with a linear phase EQ, after which I introduce an upward compressor. This means that I can bring the details of the mids forward significantly, then blend in the effect. The EQ needs to be in linear phase mode to avoid weird artifacts between the two signals. Alternatively, you could simply put the upward compressor on the main track, but for reasons that I'll explain in the next chapter, this setup gives us a lot of control. So let's take a listen to it.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can...
Only a small percentage of people that watch our videos are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Step 5. Further process the parallel track. Since we have our mids isolated with their detail brought forward, we could further process these in any way that we see fit. For example, I could use a dynamic EQ to expand certain mid frequencies or use parallel downward compression to make the signal even more dense. For the time being, I'll do a little bit of both to really shape these parallel mids and give myself a lot of control over both the master's timbre and dynamics. So let's take a listen and notice how this additional processing augments the mids.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can...
Step 6. For loud genres, use a clipper. For the remaining processing, let's move to the stereo output. This way, all of our processing is being added in order, starting with the channel strip's first EQ, through the parallel bus, then to whatever we add at our output. So, if you're making dance music or anything in which loudness is expected, a clipper will definitely help bring it closer to your desired LUFS. That said, streaming services are still going to normalize the volume, so keep this in mind. When I use a clipper, I'm typically going to put it before the limiter. This way, added harmonics from the processing won't cause clipping in my actual DAW. which I don't have the ability to control the shape of. So let's take a listen to clipping being added, but I'm probably gonna take this off after this demonstration.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can.
Step 7. Broadband Additive EQ. I'm going to use the Kirchhoff EQ again and try some of its useful analog emulations to create some gentle curves. Using the left-right fader, I can determine to what extent this band affects the left or the right channel, in turn giving me more control over my stereo image. Around 3 to 5 kHz, I'll create 2 of these bands, but at slightly different frequencies and lean one more towards the left and one more towards the right channel. I'm then going to create a high shelf filter and choose the mid-side placement before leaning the filter more toward the side image to cause high frequency stereo expansion. Additionally, I'll cut the lows out from the side image using a high pass filter. This way, lows remain more mono and focused. Lastly, I'll introduce low latency linear phase to avoid phase issues in my low frequencies and enable 2x oversampling to avoid any aliasing that would have been created from the air filter. So let's take a listen to what this EQ adds to the signal.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now ever since I woke up, I can.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Step 8. Limiting without true peak detection. Next, I'm going to add limiting to my signal but avoid true peak detection since it'll negatively impact the transients. The limiter you choose is totally up to you, but the Sonix Oxford limiter lets me increase low-level detail, in turn reducing the need for affecting my peaks. As a result, I get a loud and full sound without the need to completely destroy or alter my transients. So let's take a listen to it and notice how we don't destroy or distort our peaks.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can.
Step 9. Review and automate plugin functions. Last up in this chain, I'm going to go back to my earlier processors and consider where certain functions can be automated for a unique effect. For example, I could increase the level of my parallel mid signal during an important part to make it sound fuller, or I could reduce it for a softer passage of the song. What you alter is completely going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish and the song itself. So let's take a listen with some of the automated changes made.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can.
For complex mastering, try Meta Plugin. DDMF's Meta Plugin is a truly interesting one that lets you create complex routing. So I'm going to use it for exactly that and create a somewhat unorthodox way to master this track. First, I'll use 2 instances of MSED by Voxengo to solo the mid and side respectively. Now I can process the mid and side channels individually and recombine them where needed. Next, I'll create a crossover and route my mid image to it. This breaks the signal into lows, low mids, high mids, and highs, which I can then route separately. I'll route my lows to the Oxford Inflator, low mids and high mids to Saturn II, and my highs to the Satin Tape plugin, giving me a lot of control over how the signal is saturated. I'll then route the side image to the Oxford Inflator and avoid breaking up the signal into distinct frequencies like I did with the mid image. Then I'll equalize my mid and side images separately and limit them separately. Now what's cool about this is that whenever the mid image is attenuated by the limiter, the sides will be louder in comparison, causing program-dependent stereo expansion. Lastly, I'll route them both to the output. Now be careful when you're using this plugin since there are definitely some quirks and phase cancellation can definitely be an issue, especially when introducing oversampling for some reason, so I'd recommend leaving this off. Also, you can even automate these parameters in your DAW like we did in the last chapter, but I'll leave this be for the time being. So let's take a listen and consider how you could use this plugin for a unique mastering session.
I'm slowly fading through the smoke. I can't hear myself think. Now every day since I woke up, I can.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.